Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Sims Proving Every Day. I am Gina, and today we are going to be in Create a Sim, and we are going to look at some of the more fun and advanced things that we can do. Stick around until the end of the video for a look at one of my other favorite worlds, Brisbane Bay. Remember, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, help your girl out, please and thank you. Alright, and here we are in Create a Sim once again, and we are going to be using the story mode today, so we're going to go ahead and click OK. And the first question it will ask you is how old your sim is starting out as. So we're going to go ahead and select Young Adult. And then it's going to start asking personality questions. Anytime you want to skip a question, you can click right here on New Question. And as you answer the questions, it will assign an aspiration as well as some traits. However, the aspiration and traits will not be revealed until you've answered all of the questions. I'm not trying to get an occult sim today, so any questions that I feel are going towards mermaids, aliens, vampires, or spellcasters, I'm not going to answer, along with any questions that I feel hit too close to home or that I just don't want to answer. So let's go ahead and get started. In the evenings, I enjoy stargazing with telescopes, watching television, plotting my next move. This first question's already boring to me, so we're gonna go new question. What's the best way to celebrate my big family reunion? Enjoying grandma's cooking, taking a family photo, avoiding my crazy uncle, taking a family photo. What do I grow in my garden? Fruits and vegetables, flowers, weeds. Flowers. What kind of home do I want to live in? A big luxurious house? Doesn't matter, I'm always working. A family-friendly home. A family-friendly home. At social events, I am the life of the party. That person who brings a guitar picking fights, not even there. How often do I visit the gym? Every chance I get. On occasion, that's not for me. On occasion. Looking to the stars one night, I see something in the sky. What is it? Wow, a shooting star? A UFO? That's no moon. While I would really believe it was a UFO, I would probably say, wow, a shooting star, so people don't think I'm crazy. So how about that sunlight? Too bright, it's the worst. Sunlight energizes me. It comes from a yellow dwarf star. I'm not sure if this one is going towards vampires, so we're going to go ahead and skip that. The cost of university doesn't concern me because I'll be taking out numerous loans. My parents are paying for it. I'll be working while in school. Loans. Home is where my stuff is, where the heart is, where I feel safest. Where the heart is. Where do I prefer to sleep? In a bed, in a race car, in a coffin. In a bed. What's the best way to experience the lunar eclipse? Play a pipe organ, dress in black, watching it with my boo. It might depend on how we answer it. We're just going to go ahead and skip it to be safe. My favorite type of people are good people, interesting people, dogs. All of the above, but I'm going to go ahead and select dogs. What are my thoughts on aliens? Someday we'll find them. They walk amongst us and that. I believe they walk amongst us, but this is the last question, so we're going to go ahead and skip this one. When raising children, what values would I instill? Good manners, creativity, chaos. Creativity with a little bit of chaos. Alright, so after you answer the questions, your sim that's generated will strike a few poses, and then it'll say, hey, nice to meet you, feel free to assign my gender, adjust my appearance, and select my clothing, and don't forget to give me a name. Okay. So it assigned him Big Happy Family as an aspiration with the bonus trait of domestic. He is a genius, family-oriented, and self-assured. So they did start him off in a career as a scientist. They gave him 2 skills of veterinarian and fitness, and he has standard starting funds. So something that can happen in story mode is that you can get above average starting funds or even high starting funds. I'm not sure if you can get below average starting funds, and I did read that there's a bug with the high funds right now. I did just test it out a little bit ago, and it said that the sim had high funds, but it still started them out with the 20,000 simoleons. If you start out with high, you're supposed to get 30,000. And it's funny that they made him a genius and a scientist, because to me, he kind of looks like a crazy professor. Before I forget, let me go ahead and give him a name. We're going to go ahead and randomize it, and hopefully it's something I can pronounce. Ross Millard? Sure. And then if at any time during your Create a Sim you want to go in and look at their story again, you can click on this little open book right here, and that'll bring that back up. So then we're going to go ahead and go to the personality plumb bob, as I call it. And this is where we could change gender, and we can also customize gender. So we can change the physical frame, clothing preference, what the sim can or cannot do as far as pregnancy, and if the sim can use the toilet standing. This is where we would change the ages. When you use story mode, you cannot go younger than young adult. However, if you're not using story mode, teenagers can live by themselves. And then if they have younger siblings, or if they have children by means of a mod, then the younger sims can live with teenagers. On this drop down, we have the walk style, and we have perky, snooty, swagger, feminine, tough, goofy, sluggish, bouncy, and creepy. And I think we're going to go ahead and stick with default because it really doesn't matter for this video. Here's where we could change the sim's voice. We have sweet, melodic, lilted, clear, warm, and brash. And you can go ahead and slide this all the way to the right to make it higher, or to the left to make it lower. This drop down is grayed out until we add family members. This is where we would click to edit the relationships with his other family members or household members. One more thing real quick about the aspiration and traits is that when you use story mode, you cannot change them unless you go back into Create a Sim with the full edit mode cheat enabled. And before we go too much further, I do want to talk about custom content real quick. I have not removed my custom content for this video, as you can tell by his hair. I use a lot of custom content in my personal games, and I'm so thankful to the creators. They're so talented. However, I do have so much custom content that I haven't kept track of the creators and where I've got all of it from. So if you see something in my videos, I will try to figure out where I got it from and let you know. I am trying to pare down my custom content. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with certain things. There are a few things that I cannot live without in Create a Sim. I cannot live without Noodle's eyes, and I'm probably going to slaughter the name, but Kijikos Eyelashes. I also have lots of hair, piercing, and clothing. In build mode, I cannot live without floor and wall coverings, and I also have a ton of decor, like plants, wall art, rugs, and mirrors. With that being said, anything that I upload to the gallery, whether it be Sims or builds, it will not have custom content in it unless I am 100% sure that I can give proper credit. Okay, so let's talk about filters real quick. You can filter hair, hats, accessories, makeup, styled looks, as well as all the clothing and shoes. The filter panel is going to be located right up here when you're working on your Sims. You click on this little arrow pointing to the left, and it will show you everything that you can filter by. So for clothing, we can filter by colors, material, outfit category, fashion choice, style, special, content, and packs. So if you want to filter something like the hair or the hats, then you can get up close and personal. Oh, he's got all kinds of piercings. Ooh. So once you get them up close and personal, you can go ahead and click on hair, and then it has that same arrow. So the way that we use these filters is, I always use Island Living as an example because I'm very familiar with it. So if you know that there's a shirt that you want in Island Living, you would go ahead and click on the arrow and you would go down to packs and select Island Living. And now these are all of the tops that are in Island Living for males. So if you wanted to put him in a feminine top, you could go ahead and click off of masculine. And now it has all the tops that are available from Island Living. So every time you change a category over here, you have to reset your filters for what you're trying to find. And then if you go back to a category that you've already filtered, it will still have whatever filters you left it at. So something else that you can do in The Sims 4 is you can add additional outfits for each category. Right now we're on everyday, so you would click on this little arrow pointing up, click on this little plus sign, and now you can create a whole new look for him. I'm just going to go for a styled look real quick, and we will go ahead and do that. And he strikes some poses, and we're good to go. So then if you wanted a third outfit, and you wanted to put it together yourself, we could go ahead and we'll just give him something from Island Living since it's selected, and we'll just throw some shorts on him. That's not great. This is very hard for me because I'm very particular about the way my Sims look, and just throwing stuff together isn't my style. Okay, so then this would be his third look. Each category can have up to 5 outfits, so there's a possibility of 40 different looks for each of your Sims. When you're adding a new outfit or look, make sure you're clicking on that plus sign, because I still do it to this day. I'll go in and be all excited about an idea I have and start changing things and realize that it's the original outfit and I didn't really want to mess with that. So just make sure when you're adding a new one, you click on that plus sign, or if there's one that you want to edit, make sure you're on the correct number before you start changing things. Now, to get rid of an additional outfit, you can go ahead and hover over the number, and then there's a little X, and you can click remove. And there you go. So now he just has the 3. Just like that. Alright, so I did change up his appearance just a little bit. I changed his hair to a non-custom. I did give him Noodle's eyes and Kijikos eyelashes. I also did warm up his skin tone just a little bit because the original skin tone was blinding bright. And I also put him in a bathing suit so that when we get to the body portion, we can see what is being changed. Okay, so all the fun things that we can customize with Sims. It's pretty, there's quite a bit. It's pretty epic. So when we're in the up close and personal view with your Sim, as I mentioned before, anything you can click on has templates. When you hover, it will show a white outline, and that's what's going to be affected when you grab on and drag. So if we click on his forehead, it's going to change the width and length of his whole head and face. Next, we can go ahead and grab onto the eyebrows and adjust their position. If you grab onto the inner corner, you can adjust the rotation as well as their length. And you can also adjust rotation and length by grabbing on the outer corners as well. Sometimes the undo arrow will be your best friend, but there's only so many times that you can go backwards. There's a few different options for the eyes. We can go ahead and click on the inner corner, and that adjusts the rotation of his eyes. When you get the whole eye area to light up, that's going to change the position, including the eyebrows. And then if we get to the outer corner, you'll get this arrow with the boxes, and that will adjust the size. So next you can go ahead and grab onto his nose, and depending on how you look at it, it's the width and either the height or the length of his nose. And if you get those little boxes to pop up, that's going to be the overall size, but it's going to leave the shape alone. So the mouth, you can go ahead and adjust the position as well as the width. And then if you click on his upper cheek, that's going to be basically the cheekbone, and we can pull it out and push it back in and move it up and down slightly. And then if you see the red lines, that's as far as you can go. If you grab onto the lower portion of the cheek, that is more like the cheek muscle. And then you can also grab onto the jaw and make it a little bit more square. You can change the height. And then the chin is width and length as well. From this view, we can also grab onto his ears and change the size. It's a little bit harder to see how big they are in this view. And then for the neck, you can also increase or decrease the thickness of the neck. So if we turn Ross to the side here, we can basically grab onto everything we could before, the forehead, and this will change the depth of the entire face. Brow bone. If you grab onto his eye, it will change the depth of the socket and also the position on the face. From the side view, if you grab onto his nose, that affects the bridge, and you can take it down, and that will affect the position of the tip of the nose. So for the mouth, it's going to be height and depth. To me, it doesn't look like the cheeks. You can really tell what's going on there. I think the cheeks are better done from the front. The jaw, however, this is where you could give them an underbite or an overbite. And then the chin is the length and height. From the side view, if you grab onto his neck, that will adjust the base of his skull. From here, we can grab onto the ears again and adjust the size, and you can see the actual size of them a little bit better. However, if you do make them big, they cannot be big without sticking out. So we're going to go ahead and flip them around to the front, and this time we are going to enter detail edit mode. So we can still grab onto pretty much all the same things. This time if you grab onto his forehead, it's going to change the shape of his face without changing the whole head. For brows, this is where you're going to affect the arch, and it's the same no matter where on the brow you grab it. If you grab onto the inner corner of their eyes, it will change the inner corner of their eyes and their upper eyelids. And if you change it this way, the eyelid will be balanced. So that means whatever is happening to like the right side of one eye is still happening to the left side of that same eye. So I don't know if that makes sense. So it changes the whole upper lid. However, if we go over and we grab onto his lid, we can change it to where it's not balanced. So like there, the inner corner of the upper lid is higher than the outer corner, and then we can move that around a little bit. And then we can, once we grab onto it, decide how hooded his eyes are. When you get the whole eye area highlighted, that's going to affect the bottom lid. The outer corners will affect the outer corner of the eye, the position, and you can move it in or pull it out. Now if you grab onto the actual iris and pupil, you can go ahead and shrink it all the way down, which is kind of beautifully creepy. But you can also go ahead and grab those and make them huge, which is still also kind of beautifully creepy. Goes down a little bit. If you grab onto the white part of their eye, that will adjust the eye position without moving the eyebrows. Next we have the nose, and you can click on a couple of different places on the nose. So we can click the upper bridge and make it wider or narrower. We can also select kind of the middle part of the bridge, and we can select the tip as well. And in this view, we can also select the nostrils by themselves. For his mouth, if you grab onto the corners, you can give them a frowny face or a happy face. And you can also grab onto the individual lips and make them thicker or thinner by going up and down, or narrower or wider by going side to side. Again, the cheek, to me, the cheek and jaw are kind of the same. There's not a whole lot that can change. On the chin, it's pretty much the same as well, height and width. Now if we turn him to the side in detail edit mode, we can grab onto his forehead and adjust his forehead by itself. Brow bone, essentially the same. We can grab his eye and change the depth, but we can also grab the lid. You can give him hooded eyes. We can also grab the upper portion of the bridge and pull it out. We can also, now this time, this is going to affect the bridge, but not the rotation of the tip of the nose. So then if we wanted to affect the tip of the nose, we could go out and pull it up like that. So we can also play with the nostrils just a little bit here. And then for his mouth, we can move the corners a little bit. We can also adjust the individual lips. Same story with the cheek for me. Jaw, kind of the same thing. We can still do the underbite or overbite. And then the chin. So if it is restricting how far you can move something, chances are it's maxed out in another view. So his chin could be, there might be something preventing it from changing from this angle. So for his ears in detail edit mode from the side, we can adjust the rotation and we can play with the lobe length just a little bit. The back of the neck doesn't do anything in this view. I went ahead and showed a little bit of mercy and changed him back to kind of an average looking sim here. So we're going to go on with what we can customize on the body. We can do shoulders, biceps, forearms, we can do chest, and then just for the sake of science, we'll go ahead and switch him to a female real quick so we can see how the chest changes on a female. Oh, she's really cute. He's cute as a girl. So, of course, we can make them bigger, smaller, and we can change the position. We can also grab onto his waist, hips, thighs, calves, and the feet. If you have your sim turned to the side and you get this up and down arrow, you can grab onto their spine, and that will kind of change their posture. I wasn't sure really what to call this, but it's kind of like the rib cage position. And then we can grab their stomach and we can grab their glutes and give them a whole bunch of junk in the trunk, or not so much. I like a little bit of junk. Also from the side, you can see how long their feet are. You can also see how big their biceps and forearms and thighs and calves are as well. There's nothing really special that's different. If you go to the back view, it's still going to be shoulders. You can do the neck from the back side as well. Waist. If you grab onto their glutes, it'll just be the same as from the side. So now we're going to do something really fun. We are going to add some family members for him. Alright, so the first sim that we are going to add is going to be a girlfriend, wife, whatever. We are not adding via story mode. We're just going to go ahead and add a new sim. We can go ahead and just randomize her name, Emmeline, and we will give her Millard. Okay, so I just changed up Emmeline real quick. I warmed her skin tone just a tiny bit and gave her Noodles eyes and Kijikos eyelashes, and this is just a already styled look. So now what we're going to get into is called playing with genetics. We're going to go ahead and click add a sim. This time we're going up to the top, play with genetics. When you select play with genetics, whichever sim you were on when you clicked add a sim, that's the first sim that it's going to take. So we want to go ahead and create their child. We're going to go ahead and add Ross in there. And then it's going to generate what she might look like. Sometimes when you have custom eyes and skins, the outcome might not be technically scientifically possible. Sometimes they'll get like bright purple eyes or red eyes or whatever. If for whatever reason you're not happy with the outcome that was first given to you, you can go ahead and randomize again. See, there's the purple eyes. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and click randomize 3 times, and that will be their daughter. So this is their daughter. I'm not going to worry about her clothes, even though this is going to make me a little bit crazy. We could also change their age if we want. We could also change daughter to son. So if she was a boy, that's what she would look like. Oh my goodness. He would be a little heartbreaker. And then we can also make them a toddler if we wanted to. I love toddlers in this game. Or we can make her a teenager. So we will go ahead and stick with child this time. And we will go ahead and say, yes, we like her. And now you can always go in and change whatever you wanted to about her. And if you're wondering how Desiree got black hair, it's because Emmeline's is custom. So like I said, sometimes the custom hair, eyes, skin tone doesn't react with the other sim like it technically should. So now let's say that Ross had a younger brother that wanted to come stay with them for a while. So we would go ahead and select Ross and then click Add a Sim, play with genetics, and now we want to create his sibling. And we are going to make him a teenager. So this is what it thinks Ross's younger brother would look like. So now let's say that Emmeline had a parent that wanted to come live with them. So we could click on Emmeline, click on Add a Sim, play with genetics, and this time we're going to select a parent. Alright, so it gave us her dad. Alright, so I went ahead and randomized a name for him real quick, gave him an aspiration and some traits. He's not going to have the same last name as his daughter because she took her husband's name. So you see that we do have a little symbol down here on her thumbnail. So it wants us to fix her relationships. So Ross is going to be her husband. Desiree is her daughter. Julian is, technically it would be her brother-in-law, but I don't want to mess with that. And Mario is her father. So we can go ahead and that's good to go. And then we can look at Desiree's. And Julian is her uncle. Mario is her grandfather. And Ross and Emmeline are her parents. So let's see what it says for Julian. Brother, household member, niece, and household member. So you can kind of see how it's working out here. And then just for giggles, let's go one more time. And, oh, we are actually going to click on Ross this time. And we are going to give them twin toddlers this time. So let's go ahead and add a sim, play with genetics. All right, so that is going to be their little toddler. Okay, so to give him a twin, I want him to have a twin sister. So we are going to leave him selected. We're going to click on add a sim, play with genetics. Oh, she's cute. However, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep her. But I am going to make her hair black because they are supposed to be twins and make sure that they have the same eyes. I absolutely love toddlers in this game. They are a handful, but I love them. So I went in and I gave Melvin the wild trait and I also put his eyelashes on, and Mariana, I gave her the charmer trait and put her eyelashes on as well. Anyway, so that's how you play with genetics. If I wanted to save this wonderful family to my library, I would go up to this folder, click on Save Household, and you can also change the portrait. And of course it's going to show modded because I do have the eyes and her hair and a couple of other things going on in there. So once you're happy with the picture, you can go ahead and click down here, Save Household to my library. So then after you exit out of Create a Sim, they will be in your gallery library. My plans for this family, originally I didn't have plans for this family because it was just going to be for this video, but I might do something with them. They might be in one of my first Let's Plays or something like that. I'll go in and change their hair and outfits and stuff like that to at least match. That is all for this video, so please stick around for just a few more minutes and we will take a look at Brisbane Bay. I decided that I am going to go ahead and let the Millards live in Brisbane Bay. However, I'm not going to move them in right this second because I want to build them a house and they're not going to be doing our tour with us. But I did just want to show you that when you have a household with more than one adult sim, your funds do go up. Here we are in Brisbane Bay, and as I mentioned earlier, this is another one of my favorite worlds. I think it is so pretty, and it gives me the vibe that this area might be just a little up the coast of where the Belchers live. from Bob's Burgers. And I also love the architecture that's here. So there are 4 main areas. We have Dead Grass Isle, we have Cavalier Cove, Sable Square, and Whiskerman's Wharf. So we are going to go ahead and start on Dead Grass Isle, which is a museum / lighthouse. And of course, because I am trying to do a okay. Are you finished? Okay, she's not finished. Alright, let's try that again. So because I am trying to give a tour of Brindleton Bay today, it is raining cats and dogs. I'm so clever. Okay, anyway, this is the island, and that is the museum in there, and then the lighthouse is back there. As far as where we can go, oh, my self-sim is helping us out again, and we can go all the way up. Can't go too close to the lighthouse there. Down here there are a few collectible items, and then there's a fishing area on this side, and then tucked away in here is a pet cemetery. If you want to get to the mainland, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can either just go through the phone and travel, or you can go down to these boats. So this little one, you can travel to the coast, and that will take you to one of the beaches on the shoreline. And if you click this one, you can travel to the docks, which is in Whiskerman's Wharf. I'm not going to bring her down here to show this because this is just kind of like a portal. There's no animations that are included with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the phone to travel. If you select travel to the coast, it will bring you to Cavalier Cove here. And there's a fishing area, and there's one on the dock. This is where it would bring you, and this is where you can go to the lighthouse. There's a lot of areas to explore. A lot of stray puppy dogs and kittens and cats, and then this is a lot. And then across the road, there's this empty lot and this empty lot. This empty lot is kind of neat because you can just walk right down the hill to a little kind of private fishing area. It's not fully private though, so you might have people cutting through this area to get there. So your sim can also cut through here, and this is the big property. Oh, and it stopped raining. That's cool. Alright, so then if you go through this property, you can get to this little beach area down here, and it doesn't look like there's a fishing area, but there are a couple of collectibles. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and travel by phone to another area. Here we are in Whiskerman's Wharf, and this is where you will be teleported if you select go to the docks. Again, there's a lot of areas to explore here. A little playground. This is kind of like the country club. Yachts over there. A little empty lot here. And it looks like there's some collectibles back there, or at least one. And the detail of this little neighborhood is so cute. I love this. And you can go all the way over to here. This would be an empty residence. And it looks like there's a fishing area down here. And there's lots of stray cats in this area. So we are in our last area of Sable Square. And this is where the hospital is, as well as the park that has dog training items. There's a cute little area here. A couple of houses. A tiny empty lot right there. But your Sims can come down here if they want. And let's see. Yep, there's a fishing area, frog log. So they can cross the road, but there's really nowhere else they can go over there. And then it looks like this is as far as they can go on this side. We can go on that little island, and then they can't get into the road on this side. What I love most about this little area is the Beetlejuice-like red bridge over here. Other than the fact that it's just a beautiful little neighborhood. And it has started to rain again. But that's okay because we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. In the next video, we will be back with Brent and Brittany, or we might be doing a build tutorial. I think we're going to be back with Brent and Brittany though. Anyway, until then, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Questions, kind comments, and feedback are always welcome. And remember, be a nice human. Bye, everybody.